A few days back, I had uploaded a video where I had read the entire judgment that the Honourable Supreme Court of India had passed on the issue of stray dogs in India. And a new judgment has come out. So I'm going to read that in today's video. A bench of two honorable judges of this court took suo motu cognizance on 28 July 2025 of a news report published in the Times of India Delhi edition titled City Hounded by Strays, Kids Pay Price. Pursuant to the taking of suo motu cognizance, the matter came to be listed before the bench on 11th August 2025, on which the following directions were issued. Number 12. For the present, the aforesaid directions shall be complied with and implemented scrupulously. We, at the cost of repetition, again make it abundantly clear to the above concerned authorities in clear words that it shall, at the earliest, number 1, start picking up and rounding the stray dogs from all localities of Delhi, Ghaziabad, Noida, Faridabad, Gurugram, as well as areas on the outskirts, and relocate these dogs into designated shelters or pounds. Number 2, the appropriate authorities of NCT of Delhi, Noida, Ghaziabad, Gurugram, and Faridabad are directed to immediately create dog shelters or pounds and report to this court the creation of such infrastructure all over the National Capital Region, NCR. A report in this regard shall be filed before this court within a period of 8 weeks. Number 3. In no circumstances should these stray dogs after their relocation be once again released back onto the streets. In this regard, proper records should be maintained by the concerned authorities regularly. Number 4. The stray dogs shall be captured, sterilized, dewormed, and immunized as required by Animal Birth Control Rules 2023 and as noted above shall not be released back. The dog shelters or pounds should have sufficient personnel to sterilize, deworm, and immunize stray dogs and also for looking after the stray dogs who would be detained. Number 5. We further make it clear that both the exercise of rounding up of stray dogs as well as the creation of necessary infrastructure in the form of shelters or pounds for the relocation, sterilization, deworming, and immunization shall be undertaken simultaneously. We do not want to hear about even a semblance of lethargy from the concerned authorities on the pretext of awaiting the creation of shelters or pounds. Otherwise, we will proceed to take strict action against these authorities. All authorities are directed to immediately begin the picking up stray dogs and in the same breath creation of appropriate and adequate shelter homes and pounds across the National Capital Region. Number 13. Any hindrance or obstruction that may be caused by any individual or organization in the smooth and effective implementation of our aforesaid directions will be viewed as contempt of this court and we shall proceed to take appropriate action in accordance with law. So coming back to the judgment the new judgment that has come out, let's read that. So the point 3 is, it may be noted that in the intervening period, several interlocutory applications for intervention came to be filed purportedly by individuals and organizations working for the welfare of the stray dogs, hereinafter referred to as animal lovers, seeking a stay on the directions contained in the order dated 11th August 2025. The issue involved in these petitions placed before the three-judge bench centers around the right of the stray dogs to live on the streets vis-a-vis the safety and security of the citizens, particularly the kids and elderly people from these very stray dogs, many of whom are suspected to be infected with the communicable disease that is rabies. It is indisputable that human beings bitten by rabid dogs suffer indescribably and many times the infection proves to be fatal. Number 5. For better understanding, a brief description of the issues raised in the other petitions apart from the suo motu writ petition listed before us is necessary. Number 6. Special Leave Petition Civil Number 14763 of 2024 lays a challenge to the order dated 18th August 2023 passed by the High Court of Delhi, wherein the division bench expressed its satisfaction over the task of sterilization and immunization of street dogs being undertaken by the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi, GNCTD, and Municipal Corporation Delhi, MCD. Being dissatisfied with the aforesaid order, the Conference for Human Rights India registered a non-governmental organization has filed the aforesaid special leave petition. Number 7. Special Leave Petition Civil Number 17623 of 2025. arises from the judgment dated 3rd March 2025, passed by the Division Bench of the High Court of Judicature at Allahabad, which was dealing with the writ petition filed by a resident of Noida district, Gautam Buddha Nagar, Uttar Pradesh, who was aggrieved by the harassment faced during the feeding of the community dogs. The division bench observed that the concerns raised in the petition were regulated by the Animal Birth Control Rules 2023, which provide for capturing, sterilization, and immunization of street dogs, as well as the measures to be taken for the feeding of the community dogs. The division bench closed the writ petition with a direction to the concerned authorities to ensure that necessary steps are taken in public interest to subserve the cause raised therein, and while doing so, the interest of the common man in moving on the streets must also be factored in. While the aforesaid special leave petitions were pending before this court, the mandatory directions in the terms indicated above came to be passed in the suo motu writ petition civil number 5 of 2025. Various non governmental organizations, NGOs, and individuals stating to be animal lovers claim to be aggrieved by the mandatory directions issued wide order dated 11th August 2025. They sought the intervention of Honourable the Chief Justice of India on the premise that the said directions are in conflict with the mandate of the ABC rules and are also impossible to comply with. One such individual has filed writ petition civil number 784 of 2025 seeking a direction that the status quo should be maintained during the pendency of the said writ petition. Under the directions of Honourable the Chief Justice of India, all these matters have been clubbed and listed before the three-judge bench to consider the prayer for staying the mandatory directions passed by this court wide order dated 11th August 2025 and to deal with the concerns which have been raised by animal lovers and to test the feasibility of implementation of the aforesaid directions in practice. Number 11. It has been vehemently and fervently urged, una voce, by the learned counsel appearing on behalf of the self-acclaimed animal lovers and the NGOs applicants before this court that the direction not to release the stray dogs to the original locations from where they would be picked up after their sterilization and immunization is in clear violation of Rule 1119 of the ABC rules framed under the provisions of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. It was submitted that under the said rule, the concerned authorities are mandated to sterilize and immunize the stray dogs and to release them in the same area from which they were picked up. It was further submitted that under the garb of order dated 11th August 2025, the municipal authorities have already started rounding up the stray dogs. Not only this, the animal lovers who feed the stray dogs are being harassed and threatened with prosecution. It was strenuously submitted that the direction to initiate contempt proceedings against the animal lovers amounts to a direct encroachment upon the fundamental right to freedom of expression guaranteed to the citizens under Article 19 of the Constitution of India. It was further submitted that there is an imminent risk that the stray dogs who are being picked up in compliance with this court's order may be culled because the municipal authorities are not seized of the logistic capability and wherewithal to create the large number of dog shelters or pounds which would be required to cater lakhs of stray dogs estimated to be present on the streets of New Delhi and National Capital Region. Since the municipal authorities do not have the required capacity, there is a looming possibility that the stray dogs, after being picked up, would be eliminated so as to show compliance of the dot. Since the municipal authorities do not have the required capacity, there is a looming possibility that the stray dogs, after being picked up, would be eliminated so as to show compliance of the order dated 11th August 2025. It was also submitted that almost 700 stray dogs have already been picked up and there is no information as to the fate of the said stray dogs. They apprehend that a large population of stray dogs, which might also include newborn puppies, is likely to be affected and may lose their lives if the directions given by this court are not stayed. Per contra, Sri Tushar Mehta, learned Solicitor General of India, appearing for the GNCTD, urged that the municipal authorities and the state authorities are taking all measures to curb the instances of dog bites and to vaccinate the rabies-infected dogs, but the task is Herculean and almost impossible considering the huge population of stray dogs on the streets of Delhi and NCR region. However, Sri Mehta urged that GNCTD is keen to comply with the order dated 11th August 2025 so that the threat faced by the human population from the rabid and aggressive stray dog population on the streets can be addressed. Sri Mehta referred to certain newspaper reports which estimate that approximately 37 lakh 15,713 dog bites occurred in India in 2024, and in several cases, human lives were lost due to trauma and rabies infection. The reports mention that the presence of aggressive stray dogs on streets is causing grave risk to the lives of children and elderly people as well as other vulnerable sections of society. They are unable to access streets and parks because of the fear of being attacked and bitten by the rabies infected stray dogs. Learned Solicitor General further submitted that sterilization alone is insufficient as it can neither prevent attacks from stray dogs nor can it prevent the rabies infection by dog bites because the immunized dogs with aggressive behavior would still be capable of attacking and causing severe harm to the vulnerable citizens if these animals are allowed to remain on the streets. He further submitted that the directions given by this court in suo motu writ petition do not impinge upon the statutory framework but rather operate as interim measures essentially required to protect the right to life of the citizens guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Sri Mehta submitted that for the time being, until the population of stray dogs on the streets is brought under control, the directions issued by this court wide order dated 11th August 2025 should be allowed to remain in force. Tapering down of these measures can be considered once the statistics pertaining to the procedure of sterilization and immunization undertaken in compliance with the mandatory directions are placed on record and the situation improves. We have given our thoughtful consideration to the submissions advanced at bar and have gone through the order dated 11th August 2025. Let notice be issued in writ petition civil number 784 of 2025 and special leave petition civil number 17623 of 2025. We shall now proceed to consider as to whether the directions given by a two-judge bench of this court on 11th August 2025 supra in the suo motu writ petition require any clarification or modification or whether the authorities concerned, including the government of NCT of Delhi, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, the New Delhi Municipal Council, and the civic bodies of Noida, Ghaziabad, Faridabad, and Gurugram should be mandated to expeditiously comply with the directions contained in the said order. Suo motu cognizance was taken by the two-judge bench of this court-wide order dated 28 July 2025, and on the very next listing, that is on 11th August 2025, the mandatory directions supra were issued to the concerned authorities. We make it clear that there is not even the slightest doubt in our minds that the intent behind the order is salutary inasmuch as it works towards protecting the citizens at large from the attacks by the aggressive and rabid stray dogs. However, there are certain vital factors that call for a balancing exercise so that the order dated 11th August 2025 can be taken to its logical conclusion while keeping its ambit within the contour of the legal framework that is the ABC Rules 2023. The two-judge bench in para 12.3 and 12.4 of its order has directed that the stray dog shall be captured, sterilized, dewormed, and immunized as per the ABC rules, but, quote, they shall in no circumstance be released back onto the streets, unquote. There is a further mandate in the order that all the rounded up stray dogs shall be kept in the shelters or pounds without there being any scope for release. The framework of the ABC rules, to be specific, Rule 1119 clearly provides that once the stray dogs have been sterilized, inoculated, and dewormed, they have to be released back in the same locality from which they were picked up. The directions given in paras 12.3 and 12.4 are for ensuring that the same number of stray dogs does not land back on the streets as were picked up for sterilization and immunization, as this would literally become a vicious circle. Nonetheless, one cannot be ignorant of the fact that the mandate to keep all the stray dogs picked up from Delhi and the adjoining NCR cities in the municipal shelters or pounds would require logistics of gargantuan proportions, including manpower, shelters or pounds, veterinarians, cages, and specially modified vehicles for transportation of the captured stray dogs. The provision in Rule 1119 that the dogs, upon sterilization and immunization, should be relocated to the same locality from which they have been picked up is scientifically carved out inasmuch as it serves two purposes. Firstly, the same prevents the scope of overcrowding in the dog shelters or pounds, and secondly, the picked up stray dogs after immunization and sterilization are relocated to the same environment where they were living earlier, which is a compassionate treatment. The aggressive sterilization would definitely put a curb on the rapid growth of the stray dog population, ultimately leading to its reduction. However, this is possible only in an idealistic situation, which seems unlikely in the present scenario. It was argued by some of the councils appearing for the animal lovers that the process of sterilization and inoculation has worked wonders in many towns across the country and has significantly brought down the population of stray dogs. To be specific, it was pointed out that towns like Dehradun and Lucknow, which have taken aggressive measures for sterilization, etc., as per the ABC rules, have seen a steady decline in the population of stray dogs. A suggestion has also been received that chemical castration is a safe, painless, and effective mode of sterilization. Thus, the direction given in the order dated 11th August 2025 prohibiting the release of the treated and vaccinated dogs seems to be too harsh in our opinion. It cannot be gainsaid that before any direction for impounding the entire stray dog population is given, it would be necessary to have a look at the existing infrastructure and human resources available with the municipal bodies. A blanket direction to pick up all the strays and place them in dog shelters or pounds without evaluating the existing infrastructure may lead to a catch-22 situation because such direction may be impossible to comply with. We therefore feel that a holistic approach requires modification of the directions issued wide order dated 11th August 2025. Accordingly, the directions issued by the two-judge bench of this court are supplemented, modified and clarified in the terms indicated below. A. Municipal authorities shall continue to comply with the directions contained in paras 12.1 and 12.2 of the subject order. B. The directions contained in paras 12.3 and 12.4 to the extent that they prohibit the release of the picked up strays shall be kept in abeyance for the time being. The dogs that are picked up shall be sterilized, dewormed, vaccinated, and released back to the same area from which they were picked up. It is, however, clarified that this relocation shall not apply to the dogs infected with rabies or suspected to be infected with rabies and those that display aggressive behavior. Such dogs shall be sterilized and immunized, but under no circumstances should they be released back onto the streets. Furthermore, as far as possible, such stray dogs shall be kept in a separate pound or shelter after sterilization and immunization. C. The directions contained in para 12.5 shall remain subject to the directions given by us in paras A and B. D. Municipal authorities shall forthwith commence an exercise for creating dedicated feeding spaces for the stray dogs in each municipal ward. The feeding area shall be created or identified keeping in view the population and concentration of stray dogs in the particular municipal ward. Gantries or notice boards shall be placed near such designated feeding areas, mentioning that stray dogs shall only be fed in such areas. Under no condition shall the feeding of stray dogs on the streets be permitted. The persons found feeding the dogs on the streets in contravention of the above directions shall be liable to be proceeded against under the relevant legal framework. The aforesaid directions are being issued in view of the reports regarding untoward incidents caused by unregulated feeding of stray dogs and to ensure that the practice of feeding dogs on roads and in public places is eliminated as the said practice creates great difficulties for the common man walking on the streets. E. Each municipal authority shall create a dedicated helpline number for reporting incidents of violation of the above directions. On such a report being received, appropriate measures shall be taken against the individuals or NGOs concerned. F. The direction given in para 13 of the order dated 11th August 2025 is reiterated with a slight modification that no individual or organization shall cause any hindrance or obstruction in the effective implementation of the directions given above. In case any public servant acting in compliance with the aforesaid directions is obstructed, then the violators shall be liable to face prosecution for obstructing the public servant acting in discharge of official duty. G. Each individual dog lover and each NGO that has approached this court shall deposit a sum of 25,000 rupees and 2 lakh rupees respectively with the registry of this court within a period of 7 days, failing which they shall not be allowed to appear in the matter any further. The amounts so deposited shall be utilized in the creation of the infrastructure and facilities for the stray dogs under the aegis of the respective municipal bodies. The desirous animal lover or animal lovers shall be free to move the application to the concerned municipal body for adoption of the street dogs upon which the identified or selected street dog or street dogs shall be tagged and given in adoption to the applicant. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant or applicants to ensure that the adopted stray dogs do not return to the streets. I, the municipal authority shall file an affidavit of compliance with complete statistics of resources, namely dog pounds, veterinarians, dog catching personnel, specially modified vehicles or cages available as on date for the purpose of compliance of the ABC rules. Since the application of the ABC rules is uniform all over the country and the same issues which have been taken up in the suo motu writ petition have either cropped up or are likely to exist in every state, we propose to expand the scope of this matter beyond the confines of New Delhi and the NCR region. For this purpose, we hereby direct the impleadment of all states and union territories in this matter through the secretaries concerned of the Animal Husbandry Department, secretaries of the local bodies, municipal corporation, municipal councils, municipalities, etc., and the administrators of the union territories so as to seek information from each authority regarding the steps being taken for compliance of the ABC rules in their respective jurisdictions. We are also informed that numerous writ petitions or suo motu petitions are pending in various high courts, more or less dealing with common issues. Hence, the registry shall seek information about such pending writ petitions from the Registrar Generals of all the High Courts, and thereafter these writ petitions shall stand transferred to this court for analogous consideration along with the main matter. List the matters after 8 weeks for further directions and for receiving the compliance report. This was dated 22nd August 2025. So the only criticism I had was don't keep the order confined to the National Capital Region, and the order has not been confined to the National Capital Region. I'm very thankful to the Supreme Court for expanding the scope of the order to the entire country as I had requested in my previous video. It seems like my wishes are being granted on this matter. Thank you for watching this video.